Good evening, everyone. I'm going to introduce to you our opening band, Tristaño. They're going to play a short set, and then we'll have a bit of a break, and we'll welcome our performers, Trina Basu and Arun Ramamurthy, to the stage. Thank you for coming. We're glad you're here and safe.
several residencies across the city. Come see us, please. Find us on Instagram, this thing. We got shirts in the back. Please buy stuff from the touring act because they've come a long way, guys. And you guys, thanks for risking your life.
Yeah, it's like a 5-minute break.
Hello, it's me again. My name is V. I'm one of the co-founders of the St. Louis String Collective, along with my friends. Thank you, Ron. Along with my friend who started that applause, Ron Ball, and Alyssa Avery, who you saw perform with the band Tristaño this evening. We founded this 501c3 nonprofit organization to provide arts education for our community, specifically for string players. And we focus on music that we like to call creative music. So think folk music, global music, improvisational styles. Right after we started this collective, we decided to take a trip to Vero Beach, Florida in 2019 to attend the Mike Block String Camp. And that's where we met our artists tonight, Trina Basu and Arun Ramamurthy. They were teaching at the camp, so we got to be their students. And as students, we learned a lot, but also as teachers, we really appreciated their graceful style of teaching, their knowledge of their culture and their craft, and their passion and willingness to share their music and their culture with anyone who's willing to learn. So we developed this dream to bring them to St. Louis, and many, many years later, we've made that a reality. So Trina Basu and Arun Ramamurthy are based out of Brooklyn. They have a new album they just released in January called Nuk Shukra, and it is for sale in the back of the room with some of their other merch. I'm sure they will tell you more about how you can get access to this wonderful music. They asked me to share a little bit about their music, so I'm going to read from their bio now. Their music is rooted in traditions of South Indian classical music, Western chamber music, and jazz. They are uniquely positioned to create a sound that feels ancient, orchestral, and contemporary, or as the New Yorker put it, free-flowing and globe-spanning. Combined with their fluency and improvisation, there's a clear architecture to their sound that still gives space for the two violins to be delightfully indiscernible and shine individually. Isn't that lovely? So I just want to give a couple of thank yous before we begin. Thank you, Tristaño, for opening up this evening. That was wonderful. Thank you to the Regional Arts Commission. They provided us with a grant so that we were able to facilitate this event and the workshop today, and then 2 school visits.
Yeah.
And last but certainly not least, thank you to the Focal Point, Jeff and Judy, Michelle and John B. Thank you so much.
Sarah?
Yeah?
Tell people to turn these down.
Oh, please turn your cell phones off. And, and we thank you so much for coming. And you guys are going to have to one-up the Midwestern welcome that the Tornadoes provided our guests with a very warm Midwestern applause for Trina and Arun. Thank you.
For coming and being with us tonight. I know it was challenging getting here. I'm sure you all have stories. This is our first tornado.
Was it a tornado?
Oh, it wasn't actually a tornado, but it was a tornado threat, a warning. So it was very adventurous. We're really happy that we could be here and make music tonight for all of you. So yeah, we want to thank the St. Louis String Collective for bringing us out.
Yes.
They're just so wonderful, all 3, Rania, V, and Alyssa. We've had some really fun experiences over the past couple days working with some great young string players at a local high school and middle school. And we did a workshop this morning as well right here at Focal Point. And we also were able to come to the Focal Point on, was it Friday night? Yeah, last night. And check out a friend of ours who we had met a few years ago, Joe Newberry, who's from here in St. Louis, and him and a wonderful fiddle player. So it's been a great few days, and I've also been able to connect with some family. I have a cousin here, so it's been nice to stay with them, and it's been really wonderful. So we're going to start with a piece that is really an improvisation, and we call it an offering. During the pandemic in New York City, we were all shut in, and life was pretty tough, but we were very lucky and we felt very privileged that we were healthy and everything was going well for us. But we have 2 kids and we needed refuge where we could all go spend time together and be in nature. And luckily near our place in Brooklyn, we have a beautiful park called Prospect Park. And we went to Prospect Park quite a lot. And it's been just an incredible place for us to find peace and laughter and joy and in nature. So we wrote this, or it's actually improvised. So this is kind of our offering to the park for just giving our family so much. So this is called Offering.
John, I got the Bluetooth thing going. you. So we're gonna move on to the next song, which ironically is called Tempest. So we weren't sure, we were rehearsing it earlier today, and we're not sure if we brought the storm. Hopefully that wasn't the case, but maybe this will drive it away. Tempest was actually one of the first songs we wrote together. Many years ago, 2016, I believe, 2015, and we wrote it for a residency we're doing in Brooklyn at a place called Pioneer Works. It's an amazing art space, and at that time it was 3 violins or 4 violins, cellos. We had a big string ensemble that we were writing for, and over the years though, we've kind of just done it as a duo, and we kind of love the way it feels. A lot of the music you're hearing tonight is drawing from Carnatic ragas. So while we are not presenting them in a traditional fashion, we've kind of arranged the songs, we've composed in certain ways, we're taking liberties with some of the traditional ways of approaching the ragas. We're still drawing from these ideas and some of the concepts. So this particular song does draw from 2 different ragas. And yeah, that's it. That's Tempest. So here you go.
Thank you. So what do we have next? Migration. Let's go ahead and play.
This next one's called Migration.
Thank you. So most of the songs we're playing tonight are original. We've been working on composing music together for several years. As you said, I think since 2016 or something. But we've been playing music together since for over 10 years. So it's been a really wonderful journey to evolve our sound and bring our worlds together of these different styles. And so we made an album in 2021?
Yeah.
I think 2022. I can't even remember. Time is just like I'm not processing time these days. But
Time moves in a funny way.
We made the album like kind of towards the end of the pandemic, and a wonderful recording engineer, Joe DeJarnette, recorded us in a kind of a small home studio in Brooklyn. And then we were really fortunate to meet this incredible label. Their name is Spinster, and they put out our record just this past January. And so all the music you're hearing tonight is on that record, and we're really excited. So you can check it out in the back. It's also online streaming. We're on Bandcamp. And yeah, so what's the next piece we're doing?
Shri Kamalam.
Okay, so this next piece is not an original, though. It's a very old Carnatic classical composition, which, if you don't know what that is, it's the style of music that comes from South India. And we've been talking about ragas. And ragas are basically the melodic frameworks in which a musician would compose and improvise in. And they're essentially modes, scales, that are interpreted and expressed in a specific way with certain ornamentations, bends and slides, and each raga is thought to have its own essence and its own personality. So this particular raga is called Shri, and it's a pentatonic scale. And the piece it dates back to the 1800s?
Yeah, early 1800s.
Early 1800s.
Yeah.
So it's an old one. It's very beautiful. It's very slow and calming. And it's in honor of the goddess Kamalamba, who is thought to be the goddess of the universe. So it has kind of that spirit of spirituality and peace in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
anything else?
And one thing you may not know is the violin has become kind of a fixture in South Indian classical music. So since about the same era, actually, Muthuswami Dikshit is the composer of this piece that we're about to play, and his brother is kind of given credit for adapting the violin to suit Carnatic music. Adapting, I don't mean that anything was changed on the instrument. The instrument itself is exactly the same, but just the style and the technique of playing was evolved from that time period. So it is very nice to be able to play the violin, which you hear all over the world, and India is no exception. So, okay, this is Sri Kamalambike. We'll start with a short alap, which is like an improvisation to introduce the song.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. How are you feeling? Wonderful. Good. We have a couple more for you.
My foot's asleep.
Foot's asleep.
So usually I sit on the floor, cross-legged on the floor. I could have easily done that here, actually, but it's nice to be eye level with everybody, and you can see me better. But my foot falls asleep. That's a side effect, a consequence.
What's next on the
We're gonna do Healer.
Healer? Okay. So this next piece we wrote right in the heart of the pandemic, summer 2020.
Yeah.
And we were like in the thick of it in Brooklyn, New York. And New York was hit pretty hard. And I think there was a lot of energy, a lot of momentum. And then we had end of March 2020, George Floyd was killed, and everybody felt this pain and confusion and anger and just a desire to kind of unite and come together and use our voices to say something and try to make change and be a part of that in some way, shape, or form. And so, in that time, there was a lot of other stories surfacing about other people who had been, their lives had been taken. And so we heard about this young man, Elijah McClain, who was in Colorado, and he had lost his life in 2019 from police brutality. And he was really just going to the store to pick up a drink, and he was going to go home, and it didn't turn out, and he was a violinist, and he was also a massage therapist, and he would play for the kittens and the animals in the shelter with his violin. And we saw also there was a lot of violinists and string players around the country coming together and holding these string vigils in different cities in his honor when everybody found out about his story. So we wrote a piece that we dedicated to him. It was originally called For Elijah, but we changed it to Healer. So this is Healer.
thank you again. We have one more song for you. We want to thank you all for coming out tonight. We can't see anybody.
We'll see you after the show.
So bright, yeah. When the lights go on, we'll see you all.
There you are.
There you are. No, it's really such a joy to be here in St. Louis. And I want to thank once again Rania, Alyssa, and V over there. I think they're over there.
St. Louis Collective.
St. Louis
String Collective.
Not just for bringing us out, because that was fun, but for all the work that they're doing here, bringing strings to different people, to different communities, trying to broaden the horizons of string players around this area. And it's really a beautiful thing, and they're great, talented musicians. So support their work, whatever they're doing. It's really outstanding. And I hope we're back at some point, and it continues to grow. So thank you.
Thank
Three
you,
of
and thank you to the
everything.
Focal Point and
Yes.
John and everyone here. It's a great venue. Yeah. So the last piece we're going to play for you is also an arrangement of an old film song. It's not from the 1800s, but it's from the 1950s, and it's a beautiful old film, black and white, by a very well-known filmmaker in Bengal, India. His name is Satyajit Ray. And this is from a trilogy of films, and it's the theme song from one of those three called Pater Panchali. And it's a beautiful kind of folk song that was composed by a great sitar player. You may have heard of Ravi Shankar, known for being the ambassador of Indian classical music to the West, and he worked with the Beatles extensively and taught George Harrison and all that. So this Satyajit Ray would hire Indian classical musicians to compose music for his films, and so the music is outstanding. And this is kind of a beautiful folk melody that is woven throughout the film. So it's called Pater Panchali. All right.
Wait for that car. Or something.
Okay, wait for the car. It may not stop. A little bit. Yeah, be nice.
Watch, it's probably our car.
I don't think it's gonna stop. Let's just go for it. Arun Ramamurthy, violin. Thank you all so much for coming. We'll see you out there.
Coming.